What's happening, everybody? It's Sean, joined again by my son Trey, and today we continue the Tom Waits journey, this time with a full album review of Blood Money. It's brought to us by friend, longtime supporter, and patron of the channel, John. Thank you, John. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons who make this thing go. Check out the Patreon link below or the Patron link on the end screen. All right, we got a ton of Waits up, Trey.
Oh, we do. And, this coming literally on the same day that our last album review that we did, Alice. So,
exactly.
Kind of a unique little trivia fact there that it came out on the same day.
For sure. And it's his 15th studio album released in 2002. It was also the soundtrack to a theater piece. So keep that in mind when you listen to this album. His third and to date final collaboration with the great Robert Wilson, with whom Waits had worked on two previous plays, The Black Rider and Alice. Got reviews of both of those up, both of which resulted in albums. It was an adaptation of a playwright, George Buckner Wozak. I'll do the best I can here, boys and girls, which he left unfinished at his death in 1836. Like Alice, it was based on a true story. A German soldier murdered a woman with whom he'd been living in a fit of jealousy. So keep that in mind. These songs really do play that out. In the play, the soldier is humiliated by a superior officer and subject to medical and psychological experiments that drive him insane. Meanwhile, his girlfriend, who's also the mother of his child, is cheating on him. Eventually, he kills her. The story has been adapted and presented many times, most notably as an opera by Alan Berg and a movie by Werner Herzog, starring Klaus Kinski as Wozak.
Yeah, and the Wilson version premiered in 2000, and then Waits decided to release the songs as an album, and he figured Alice deserved to be put out into the world too. As he said at the time, which I think this is just such a great Waits quote right here, quote, "I'm just glad to have all these people out of my head that weren't paying rent. I'm telling them, go out there and make dad some money." I found that to be fantastic. And, of course, Tom, not only away with words at his music, but also in his interviews, definitely that intelligent and enigmatic figure right here. This has a pretty solid critical acclaim as well. Not as high as, the top tier critical acclaimed Waits records, but still pretty good. And as with most of Waits' work, all of tracks here written by Waits and, of course, his wife, Kathleen Brennan.
All right, we get to the first track. You see it below. Misery is the river of the world. So that tells you how this album's going to be already. There's a marimba and bells in here. It sets this kind of menacing atmosphere. Tom is in full-bore rough voice. I mean, this is Tom getting after it. You have to really focus to understand it, but I have the lyrics up so I could. The first line, "The higher that the monkey can climb, the more he shows his tail." That's another great line. "All the good in the world you can put inside a thimble and still have room for you and me. If there's one thing you can say about mankind, there's nothing kind about man." I mean, Waits is a wordsmith.
Yeah, great lyrics there. And I like that whole monkey idea, right? Because
the
higher you're climbing up, then the more you're showing the tail, the more you can be pulled down, maybe showing your weakness, so to speak. And I really think that this sets a great tone for the record and what we're in store for. You have more of that dark, almost vaudevillian cabaret type of atmosphere. The marimba's there. Bring back the marimba in modern music.
Yes, man. Come on.
It just makes for some really cool textures, not only on this song, but throughout the record as well. And then one of my favorite lines on here, "Call no man happy till he dies. The devil knows the Bible like the back of his hand." Not much hope from the onset, and this record really does have a dark, almost evil kind of sense to it, just in some of the stories that are born out. So this was one of my favorites on here, and that goes to our next track. Keeping with the kind of nihilistic onset here. "Everything goes to hell."
Yeah, his voice is a lot more refined on this, but it would be hard not to be compared to the last track. Baritone sax adds a great environment. It's going to reappear on a lot of these. Tom's on the Chamberlain and accordion. He believes everything goes to hell. Part of the song, he's having an affair, right? And there's great lines. "There's a few things I never could believe: a woman when she weeps, a merchant when he swears, a thief who says he'll pay, a lawyer when he cares," sorry lawyers, "a snake when he is sleeping, a drunkard when he prays. I don't believe you go to heaven when you're good, and everything goes to hell anyway." So welcome to Mr. Waits, brightening your day.
Yeah, I think that really sums up the song quite well. And oddly, though, the baritone sax that we had here by Colin Stetson, it did make me want to move a little bit. So, I just thought the impressive arrangement right there contrasted well with the dark and nihilistic lyrics right there. And that takes us to Coney Island Baby right here. What's this one about?
Well, he sings of a girl that comes around every night that makes him feel like the richest man in the world. She could be a girlfriend. She could be something else, but it's much more chilled, right? He still has a little bit of a gruffness to his voice. They dialed this arrangement way back compared to the richness of the last two tracks. You do have a cello, a sax, and mainly a trumpet on this one.
Yeah, I thought the cello and the trumpet gave a bit of a oddly lush atmosphere, and yet still had that old-time, almost gramophone-like sound in there. Really vintage in that regard. I like the line, she's a princess in a red dress. She's the moon in the midst, to me, again, showing that great wordsmith and alliteration and just the linguistic greatness that Waits has. I thought this was a solid tune as we go to All the World is Green for our next track.
Yeah, and I know you're going to talk about it. I see in your notes, so I won't talk much about the marimba. The clarinet also builds the environment, somewhat less menacing than the first track, Misery is the River of the World. Yet the content is most definitely not. Supposedly in the play, the main character, Franz, who is a German soldier, remember, who lives with his love, her name's Marie. She leaves him for another man who forces himself upon her. In a fit of jealousy, of course, Franz is going to kill Marie. And then he kills himself. The song builds that narrative.
Yeah, and here we have the marimba again. And though I was, propping it up in our opener, I thought here it became a little monotonous for me in the midst of the arrangement. Good lyrics, of course, but not one I personally jumped to return to. But hey, maybe that's just me. As we go now to God's Away on Business, track number 5, and that he returns back to that quite gruff delivery.
He does. He delves out all the evil, and he will do about anything to further himself, right? Sell your soul, baby. And there is no God that's going to look after you when he does, because God's away on business. He's busy. You've got the trumpet too, but you got a log drum, a bass clarinet. All adds to that just crazy atmosphere that this album's building.
Yeah, and whereas I wasn't the biggest fan of All the World is Green, this is one of my favorites, God's Away on Business, because I think it's just so hard-hitting right here. One of my favorite lines, I'd sell your heart to the junk man, baby, for $1, only for $1. So
only
again,
for $1, but it's getting something out of it.
That tells you just how low this guy's going to stoop here, not only on this song, but on the entire record, right? And so I think that that evil nature that Tom can sometimes really bring out in these characters is apparent on this one, and made it one of my favorites. And we're gonna kind of keep with the seediness here as we go to Another Man's Vine.
Yeah, and basically on this one, Tom's in pursuit of another man's wife. We learn later on that her husband, Golden Willie, he's away to war, and she's starting to forget about him. So Tom moves in. You got an alto and a tenor sax that builds the atmosphere nicely.
Yeah, and here I think Tom, just throughout his discography, he's an expert at subverting the expectations, and he does here whenever you figure out in the song, as you mentioned, that the husband's away at war right here. Again, showcases the themes of really no good morality up to this point on the record. This was a good one, and then we get our instrumental right here, Knife Chase. It served the purpose of the record solid enough.
Yeah, it's just a little industrial sound and kind of a chugging in there. You got a little bit of a trumpet, a little bit of sax. So I don't know. It had to build into the play, right? Mm-hmm. Something menacing was probably going on in the play, or something really difficult. So.
And then we go to Lullaby here, which I know is one of your favorites, right?
It is. It's much more dialed back, way dialed back acoustic. You got mainly cello and violin, so you can just imagine the strings in there. The opening verse, sun is red, moon is cracked, daddy's never coming back. Nothing's ever yours to keep. Close your eyes, go to sleep. If I die before you wake, don't you cry, don't you weep. So still darkness, right? Even though he's singing to this person, he obviously loves them, but he's like, don't worry about me.
No, exactly. And, it stayed true to its name with being a lullaby-esque tune, of course. And, again, highlights the variety of sounds that Tom can pull off just within a record. And, I think that is one of the strengths of Tom that maybe is just not thought about or talked about him a lot. The way he's able to sequence his records, and he doesn't just hit you with all the gruff sounding tough tunes, boom, 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 boom. So you get a little break right here as we're gonna go back to a lot of biblical allusions on this record, Dad, and that's true for this track, Starving in the Belly of a Whale, which of course alludes to the story of Jonah and the Bible. Yeah,
exactly. I don't have a lot to add. It's very gruff on the vocals, so you gotta read the lyrics to understand what is going on. Yeah, he just uses Jonah kind of as an illusion that things aren't going to work out for you.
Yeah, and Tom's actually on the electric guitar right
So
here.
talented as a musician, never talked about.
Yeah, he's that's a major highlight for me. I hadn't heard of much of the electric guitar just in general up to this point in the album. Fuses with the bass clarinet and the sax in a quite intriguing way. One of my favorites, both musically and lyrically right here. And we're gonna go now to the part you throw away.
Yeah, voice is really clear on this. I noted, I like the way he sequences where sometimes it's gruff and you can't understand. And go right into something where like, is this the same guy? But yes, it is. Sparse instrumentation again. Got the cello, got the acoustic, got the violin, a light clarinet. Yeah, what do we got on this one?
Yeah, here, you know, the selfish protagonist, he's been in this position before, so he takes no responsibility for his actions, and quote, time is just a memory mixed with desire. I, again, thought that was a very well put right here. A solid track, and then we go down to, you know, a really short and sweet tune, you know, about 90 seconds long. We have Whoa.
The great lyric on here is the ribbon around your neck, against your skin. It's pale as bone. It's my favorite thing you've worn. The band is playing our song, and we won't go home till morn. Just more of the kind of darkness, yet there's some beauty to it as well.
Yeah, I think it's one of the few sweet moments on the record for you to almost take a breath, and maybe you're like, oh, is there a glimpse of hope ahead? And that's maybe not the case, because then we go to our next track here, which is a instrumental, Calliope. This song twists Woe's hope, you know, that we thought we had into something a bit off-putting and almost a madhouse-like. It's a soundtrack to nightmares in a sense, and even though it is short, sweet, and to the point.
You know why it's such a nightmare? It's got two things on it that kind of add the organ, but most importantly, the toy piano. Tom's on that toy piano, and it adds to that creepiness for sure.
And then we're already to our closer right here. A good man is hard to find, and ain't that the truth?
Yeah, I mean, I tell your mom that all the time, how lucky she is to have found me. But yeah, this one's pretty gruff, but you can't understand it. So it's kind of a medium. You can understand. Honestly, Trey, I don't really know what this is about, but I think it probably fits into the climax of the play. The marimba, Your Buddy Is Back, and the pump organ helps set kind of the atmosphere to close us out.
Yeah, we definitely lean back in fully into that cabaret, you know, style that it pops up on this record. We have a good line here. A good man is hard to find. Only strangers sleep in my bed, and my favorite words are goodbye, and my favorite color is red. Is his favorite color red because of the blood, the red, the kind of imagery there, right? You know, the love, the anger. What is it? Strong way to end the record, I think, musically and lyrically right here. And that'll take us now to our favorite tracks.
Well, I got the first track, Misery is the River of the World. I got Lullaby because I just like the difference in that. And then Another Man's Vine, just also, there's some differentiation on my favorites of the styles as well.
Yeah, my favorite would be God's Way on Business. I just thought it was one of the hardest hitting tracks in Waits' entire catalog. Misery is the River of the World is also going to be one of mine. And then Starving in the Belly of a Whale. So, yeah, those would be mine. What are you feeling on this, Dad, overall? And if you would have bought this back in 2002, you prefer Alice or do you prefer Blood Money?
Those are great questions. First, I will say on our favorites, it's always interesting to me on Wait. We always have different ones a lot of times, which shows you how diverse he is. I think I like Alice better, but they're so different, and I think that's brilliant. I just think that's brilliant. But I still like this album. On this album, I'd be at like a 7.25 or a 7.5. But for these albums, for me, I think these albums grow on me more. They're more growers instead of on first listen. But I will tell you, I'm a broken record, so to speak, if you listen to all our Tom Waits. Tom Waits is one of the most underappreciated and underrated musical artists in rock history. Yeah. Music history. He's unbelievable. He's a master lyricist in the vein of even a Nick Cave, who's another guy who I mentioned on this channel a lot, who's just fantastic. But just so good. What about you? What'd you think?
I'd lean in your direction where I'd give Alice the nod here, but I still enjoyed this record. For sure. I think overall, a very pessimistic, one of Tom's most pessimistic albums.
And that's saying something.
And again, gives insight into those seedy characters that he's so sharply able to develop. Music, leaning into that cabaret dark jazz style, while his vocals though pack a punch on most songs. I feel he did this type of style better, on Alice as a whole. It's a worthy companion piece. Could have fit well as a double record if he wanted to do that as well. Not as many takeaway tracks, but the record, I think, flowed well, as I was mentioning earlier. And as always with Tom, his backing musicians are definitely on point. So I'm at a solid 7 out of 10 for me on this record. And even this late into Tom's career, right? He's still pumping out quality stuff.
Almost 30 years after closing time. So guys, we need your help here. What did you think of this album? What would you give it? What is your favorites on here? And go check out that Tom Waits catalog down below.
Yeah, and thanks again to our patron John, who requested this. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and if you'd like to have us review or react to a record for you, check out our Patreon page, which is also going to be linked below and at the end screen here in just a bit. But I guess that'll wrap it up from here today. So until next time, y'all, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.